Good morning. Thank you guys for all being here. This is the first time I've ever been in a room full of creatives that were all on time before. So this is new to me, except for at the academy, because we make our kids do push-ups if they're late. So they usually figure it out. But yeah, thank you very much for being here. This is my first time, and this is the first time even at the Creative Mornings event, as well as first time at the Portland Museum. I gotta come hang out. I gotta drift outside of Fifth and Cooch a little bit more. I don't go that far. All right, so this morning we're gonna talk a little bit about, I guess, the way I see the word equality, and often whenever I'm trying to figure out what to say or talk to students, I always go back to the dictionary and kind of really look up words, truly understand the definition of what they say. And so when I looked it up, there's a few things that kind of resonated with me, and one of them was kind of the state of being, as well as the word opportunity. So I'm going to talk about those two things this morning. And we take questions afterwards as well, right? Okay, good. I respond way better to questions, by the way. I like questions. All right, so first, the state of. I want to take you through the state of kind of our kids today, all right? And I want to walk you through the first random kid number one, all right? Random kid number one. He was born with the gift to draw, like most kids, grew up in the inner cities, loved sneakers, loved to draw sneakers, and to the point where, especially today, like in our art schools today, or in our high schools today, art is gone. It's disappearing left and right. And, there's kids that have this path that have no real roadmap. And so this is where we are now, where, kids, instead of kind of pursuing those paths, those artistic gifts and paths, they just take on other jobs and hopefully other remedial jobs and other things, such as fast food. You can work there. How many of you guys worked at McDonald's before? Oh, you don't be shy. I worked there. All right, thank you. Thank you, sister. Thank you very much for admitting that out loud. Thank you. Y'all too good at working at fast food places? Shoot, y'all go there often. Y'all can work there. So, a kid could work at fast food till they're 16 or 17 years old. Then they'll graduate from high school. Hopefully, they will graduate from high school. But also, what ends up happening, which is a sad stat, is more than half end up dead before they're 18 years old or in jail. One of those two things happens to a lot of kids when they grow up in inner city neighborhoods. At the same time, because of this, and because of just the situation that they grew up in, they may not have the money to afford to go to college. So college may not ever be in their future whatsoever. And ultimately, what happens is most of these kids, their dreams are over at that point. And, so it becomes a bit of a life unfulfilled at times. And then even sadder, if you can make it to 24, these are real stats that, kids in inner city neighborhoods, kind of go through. And this is a real situation. And for me to understand that this has been happening way beyond before I was on this earth, and still to this day, it's still happening. It's a situation that is not new, but it's a situation that we should consider what are the options for these kids. My industry has been around way longer than I have. And I want to give you a bit of a state of my industry from an equality point of view. How many of you guys ever heard of this man right here? So Jan is an amazing man. He's an African-American man who in 1883, he invented the modern day process of putting an upper and a bottom on shoes. So imagine this man back in 1883, a black man, created the process that's still a variation of it, still used today, of how you actually assemble shoes. And his simple patent was to take what would normally be 50 pairs of shoes and increase it to 700 pairs of shoes in one day. And now today, in all parts of the world, that same process could produce 10 to 15, 20,000 pairs of shoes a day. Now, this man is very, he's not well known at all, but he's a black man who was a pioneer in the footwear industry. And yet, our industry hasn't really caught up yet. Today, as it stands, it's 50 plus billion. I'm just being generous with 50. It can fluctuate every day, it changes. But $50 plus billion industry with over 10,000 footwear designers in it. A little over 100 are of color. Just a little over 100 are color. And 15 of them are females of color. Now this is 10,000 plus people, where you have about 7 of them are developers. One of them, a former developer over there in the brightest shirt in the room, by the way. One of them, yeah. What does that shirt say? Like, hello? Have a nice day. Yeah, you gotta have a nice day with that shirt. And then sadly, I'm only aware of one black engineer. So here you have a man who started it well over 100-something years ago, and yet there's one. There's only one. Now, these are the most current numbers, so it's not like it was worse. I mean, it was better and it got worse. This is the best it has ever been. So we're going up, by the way. So this is an incline up, but it's a slow, steady climb up. So now I want to talk to you about kind of opportunities. So understanding the state of where most of the kids are now, and kind of the state of where our industry is now. I like to focus on positive things. I'm not a negative person. I see negativity as opportunities. And so the opportunities I want to talk about is one, for me, it seems like there's a heightened opportunity for career awareness, for opportunities that are in this industry, for not only people of color, people from disadvantaged neighborhoods that have financial issues of attending school or getting jobs or just being aware of what those situations may be. The other is the opportunity to increase or bring back art and design back into high schools. Because if it doesn't reach that level, we're gonna lose more and more kids. And now, not talking about just art and design, just in general. I mean, just electives for a kid to have something to do is insane how it's disappearing. So in a lot of ways, you're giving these kids no choice but to do something destructive because they have no options. They have no options. Increase the awareness and increase the student body of African Americans in design schools. Right now, it's only about 5%. Now, this is nationally. It's about 5%. So this is a direct correlation to why they're not working as well. The high school is a direct correlation of why they're not going to college either. So they're all directly connected to each other. The same with increasing that 1% of women in our industry, as well as increasing that 5% of African American men in this industry. For me, I see these are all as opportunities. This is not a negative thing or a sad thing. I'm excited about this because I know that, if someone actually focused in on it and paid attention to it, something different and real could actually happen. And after my career ended, So I retired officially on April 1st, 2011. I wanted to do something about it. And so I decided to, instead of being one of those people that complain about it and feel bad about it, I wanted to see if I can make a small little dent in my industry, small little dent in my world that I knew and existed in and benefited from so greatly. So I want to give you random kid number 2. Random kid number 2 is how the opportunity could change things, okay? So we know random kid number 1 already. Random kid number 2, same situation. Still born with a gift to design and draw and create. Still born in the same inner cities. Same. Still with the ability to absolutely love to draw, and specifically love to draw sneakers, okay? Still, there's no art and design in high schools. That's still a problem. So we're still on track. But what if this kid could actually go to pencil at age 15? What if they can get exposed to their career path and what they want to see at such an early age? How things would be different. And not only come once, but come twice for additional guidance, additional training, additional development, to prepare them for that moment where they do graduate from high school and they do actually attend college. And then they go on to come back again to get further training and further development. And then they graduate from college. And then they actually end up working in the industry. So the beginnings are the same, but you can see where the pivotal moments are where things can change and impacts can happen. And so I'm often inspired and excited by what kid number 2 could be and how often kid number 2 could be a reality instead of kid number 1. And so in 2010, I tested this idea of what it would be like to create a footwear design academy, because there wasn't one. And as a creative, I like the idea of doing stuff that nobody else does. I think doing the same things everybody else does is a little boring, but to each his own, sorry. I just think it's boring. So I wanted to try this thought of what would happen. I mean, because you have this industry that's not going away. It gets bigger every year. And it was kind of shocking that it didn't have a pipeline. It didn't have a destination for people. It didn't have a place to hire people. And so I figured, why not me? So I tried it. And one of the first companies to figure out what it is that we do and could do was Adidas, actually. I've been specifically working with Adidas for the last 5 years. And every year we've done a program with them. And from those 5 programs, they have over 35 former Penso students working there. So they kind of figured that out. Thank you. One of the first retailers to figure out what we do is Foot Locker. And we've done 3 programs with them in the last 3 years. And what we do with them is we would take an existing product and challenge students to refabricate it, redesign it, and pay them. They would get paid to go to school. And that product would then be sold at Foot Locker. So Foot Locker has been a huge supporter of what we've done, and we've had over 15 kids from those programs that are now working professionally at multiple companies throughout the industry as well. The other thing that we do different is we just try stuff. I almost cursed. Can I curse in here? Okay, sorry about that. We just try stuff. So I remember one day I was sitting there, I was like, wouldn't it be cool to try to find the best sneaker designer in the world? Yeah, why not? Let's try it. So we launched an online program called the World Sneaker Championship. And we had students from over 5,700 students from 75 different countries enter this tournament. And this is the shoe that won last year. It was a 19-year-old kid named Maxwell Lund. He was a freshman in college. And he ended up winning, got paid, helped pay off some of those student loans. And his shoe was sold at Foot Locker. And it sold out in 2 hours. So we just try stuff. The other thing that we do is companies start to really come to us because they're looking for new hires, new interns, and we do programs that are specifically focused on internships and new development and new hires. And we want to try to create an experience that's similar to exactly the way you would work at a company. So that's how we teach. We teach the same way that you would exactly work at a company. Our students work about 16 hours every day straight for 4 weeks. We do more hours than a traditional 16-week semester, and it's specifically for companies. And the companies work with them and develop them. And we put them in the best possible position to be seen and heard by the right people that can propel them to the next level of where they want to be. For me, that's called an opportunity. It's to get them there. We turn away about 3,000 kids a year. But our goal is to have those that are solely focused on what they want to do and really elevate who they are as a person and really put forth their best effort. That's why all of our programs are structured in this competition environment that we create for them. One of the things we're doing this fall is similar to my conversation of find the best sneaker designer in the world. I want to find the best high school sneaker designer in the nation. So we're going to launch the state, Sneakerhead of State. How many of you guys ever heard of the, I know, right? Who wouldn't want to be the best one in their state? How many of you ever heard of the FIRST Robotics program? This is the sneaker version of the FIRST Robotics program. So it will start with design kids, and then they will start to assemble teams by school. And the teams will mimic those teams that exist in companies. So it'll be a designer, a product marketing person, engineer, color materials. We'll add apparel and accessories, Angela. So we will assemble a team that these kids will actually never get a chance to see how it works in the inner workings of a company, but they'll actually be working the way that these companies work, which will then put them one step closer to getting into the right schools and then getting into the right jobs. So I'm really excited about Sneakerhead of State. Another program I'm very excited about as well is we just partnered with PNCA, Pacific Northwest College of Art. And our goal with PNCA is to really look at how do we take what we do and put it in a traditional college format, but utilizing the same things that we do, bringing in brands, bringing in teams of students, but bringing them in more of a collaborative effort, in a collaborative way, and really kind of putting these kids in an extended kind of internship. Because these kids will work directly with the companies from these brands. It would be basically a 3-year job interview for a lot of these kids, and a 3-year job interview for all these brands. It's like, what brand wouldn't want to get to know a person for 3 years before they have to make a commitment to hire them? I know I would, shoot. We structure our programs very similar. The other thing that's exciting that we're adding for us is apparel and accessories program. Headed up by Miss Angela Medlin over there. Hello, Angela. Thank you for coming. So that's, yeah, give Angela applause. She's good. So similar to myself and Suzette Henry, who runs our color materials department or director at Pencil, the M Lab, Angela's going to head up the functional apparel and accessories program, or studio, sorry, functional apparel and accessory studio. We were just talking the other day. It's kind of ironic. All three of us, our last job was Jordan, at different times, but it's kind of ironic we ended there. But very excited to have you on board and looking forward to doing some great things. This is a great program for us because it's an opportunity for kids to get accreditation for the work that they do. A lot of the things that we do is accredited by the companies. So the companies validate who we are by continuing to support our programs. But this is an opportunity for the students to actually get credits and make those credits transferable. They can transfer back to their other schools as well. So I want to thank Don and Darby for putting up with me in the emails and different ways of pushing higher ed to do something different. So thank you guys for doing that. The other thing that we're doing is we're creating a global online program. We have a lot of international students that attend Pencil, but there's also a lot that can't physically come to Portland because of visa situations with our friend, or no, not our friend, that dude in DC. He's making it a little harder for visas to happen, and so we're going to go to them. So we're launching a program that will start with 50 different colleges in 50 different countries, and every year it increased by 50. And so we can have a global presence of what design is. And this becomes a talent pool. It becomes a talent pool, both the high school program and our online program becomes a talent pool to bring kids here to Portland to attend our PNCA program. So we're really looking to select the right opportunity to bring the right kids here for these opportunities that we're trying to create for them. One of the last things we're doing is we just finished, well, almost finished. I got to catch a plane and finish. But we just finished a reality show with Google and YouTube. And this was interesting because I'm a very private person, and I don't like a lot of people in my space. And I had like 90 of them in my space with 100 cameras for 9 weeks. So that was a little nerve-wracking, but it's going to be good. So this will be on YouTube early September. They're targeting about 30 million people that we'll reach with this program, and it really highlights Portland as a city and kind of what we do as well at Pencil. So if you get a moment, check it out. But for me, this was the reason why I did it was because I don't like talking. I would like to be Charlie from Charlie's Angels. If any of you guys are old enough to remember Charlie from Charlie's Angels, I would much rather be heard than seen. And but I saw this as a massive opportunity for us to reach more kids, is to reach those kids who are just randomly watching YouTube killing their brain cells, and they stumble upon this. And for us, it's about visibility of trying to reach these kids, and we saw this as one of those platforms to be able to do that. I want to revisit Random Kid number 1 again. And I want to revisit Random Kid number 1 with a different ending, okay? So we'll pick up from when Random Kid number 1 was working at 15. This time, this random number kid won a design competition when he was 17 years old. Then he still wasn't able to go to college because he was the youngest of 6 kids, but he started working professionally at the age of 19 years old. He went on to have a successful 23-year career working with some of the top brands and some of the top athletes in the world, retired with the goal of trying to find more random kids like him. And both of these people are real people. So that's little me. And the guy to the right, his name is Jordan Johnson. He was in my first class. And so Jordan just emailed me about a month ago and told me about his new job because he just graduated from the University of Colorado, and he's working in advertising in Denver. Which is great. Like, that was the plan. It just took a little while to develop, but it worked. Totally worked. If you ever get a chance to visit Pencil, when you walk into the studio, on the floor, you'll see these words really big on the floor as soon as you walk in. And it was a quote my mother always told me right before she would beat my ass. She would also say a hard head makes a soft ass too. And then, but it always stuck with me. And it stuck with me because I knew I need to be focused on what I did, not what I said. And this is what I put on all of our students as well. But more importantly, this is what I put on myself. Still to this day, every day, I put this on myself. And since we launched Pensole in 2010, we've had over 100 students of color. And a little over half of those students are now working professionally in this industry. Just so for me, my actions will always speak louder than my words, always. And I think if we really, truly believed in this word equality, it wouldn't be the words that we do. It would be the things that we do. And so for me, that's my definition of what equality means. Thank you.